Frith. Hope all is well. This video is a continuation from last week on EIhwaz. The focus will be on the ritual meditation. Before I get into that, though, I just want to emphasize again the importance of working with the stadas and the movements, because that not only helps stabilize and balance and center the body and get the energy moving, but it also helps with breaking up stagnation and energy blocks, or triggering different memories or traumas so that you can process through them. And the importance of that is that as we increase the flow of energy through our body, and especially channeling it up the central nervous system, up through the spine, that it doesn't trigger even more issues. So it's important as we're increasing our energy flow that we process through whatever comes up, because as we continue to increase that, it exacerbates issues and other, can cause physical ailments or what have you. So I want to emphasize the importance of that, and I'll put a link at the bottom of this video in the description with it, that it just goes through all the different movements and the statas. A few other ways that you can help with breaking up tension and working with blocks is to do physical manipulation, such as massage or acupressure. Working with stretching, that helps to break up tension and to deal with muscles that are feeling tight or what have you. You could do resistance, so the sense of for instance, when I'm working with the neck and shoulders, sometimes I'll just push to my head, and I'm just keeping it so that I don't push myself. So I'm not trying to push back, I'm just resisting that pressure. So I'll do it one way and the other, in the back and the forward, and that really will activate those muscles and tighten them up initially, but then as you relax that, the muscles can relax a little bit more, and some of that tension is released. And then of course doing light cardiovascular stuff or weightlifting. You're not necessarily trying to strain your muscles or exhaust them, but you're just activating them, right? All those actions can help stimulate the energy. So then as we sit down and to work with the meditation, we can channel that energy up into the spine. Now, when it comes to working with the mind's eye, it's oftentimes, in my experience, it is connected to the amount of energy that I can raise up, so that if I'm able just to raise up a little bit, I might have this experience working in the mind's eye, but it doesn't last for long, versus when I've really reserved my energy and built up a lot of energy, I can stay in that state for a prolonged amount of time, right? So again, I just want to re-emphasize the importance of working with the stadas and the movements for that purpose. Now, in regards to working with the EIhwaz meditation ritual, either do it from a seated position or a laying position, and that is just, it helps to stabilize your body, and so that it's easier for your consciousness to move out of your body, and it will remain in place. In general, with seating, I find that it's either doing it like this kind of posture, the God posture, or you could do it cross-legged. And then when you're laying down, I have found, instead of just completely laying prone, which oftentimes can trigger kind of the sleep response, the body's wanting to relax and go into a sleep state, to instead have your laying on your bed, but then have your legs off of the edge of the bed and touching the ground just like this, so that you can work with the EIhwaz, with the 9 points of the foot. Refer to that video for that one. Okay, so you want to be stabilized, and so now all those movements that you worked with the emphasis on the spine, so so Wilo, Birkana, Gebo, Algiz, right? All those different movements that are stimulating the spine, right? You're wanting to do that so that you're loosening up the spine, if you feel any tension or any blocks or anything, kind of just give a moment of focus to bring your attention to that area and move around, move your body. Utilize the runic movements at first, and then as you go into them, you might find yourself just moving around in other forms and other ways. Just go with it, with your attention on whatever area is tense or blocked or something going on there, right? And of course, always remembering one of the lessons with Rune is to relax, right, and to let the energy flow, and of course to enjoy it. Um, yeah. So as you're sitting in this posture, you've calmed your breath, you've done the energy circulation, see right over that. You're building energy with kanaz, and you continually working with that flow. And now the you want to feel the sensation, the visualization, that sense of that energy coalescing at your roots, and then moving up into your spine, up to the center of your being. And if you find yourself moving around, doing adjustments, whatever, do that. Always having the focus on that sensation, that feeling it rise up and following it, right? And then, so we're channeling it up into the mind's eye, right? That's the point of this meditation, is that we're bringing it up into the mind's eye, and then whatever we're focused on, our consciousness melds with that, and that is where insights and change and energy and communication, you can, so like working in the mind's eye, that's where it's all about. So like and like Seder, with working with trance, or it's that sense of astrally traveling, right? That sense of sending out your consciousness for whatever purpose you have. So that's one facet of it. I don't focus with that on Rune Yoga. My focus is on the cultivating side of the self. So let's say I have this pattern that I'm wanting to break up in my life. It's just I keep getting in the same relationships, or the same things keep happening in me in these social circumstances, or whatever you have. And you might not be able to identify the root of it. Like with EIhwaz ritual, the focus is like recognizing the things that we consciously are aware of and can change by, whatever means that we can change by. With EIhwaz, it's like now we're digging deeper into the self and touching in with those patterns and issues and things that just it's just fucking hard to break, like addictions and things like that, So with EIhwaz, it's really digging deep, and so let's say we want to break a habit or something. So that is our meditation. That is our focus. We want to break this habit and maybe create a new one or whatever it is. That is our focus. So now, as we're directing all that energy, it's getting focused towards that. And so then in classical yoga and in the Indian tradition, there's stages of meditation. And so the first stage is like where the senses kind of get pulled in, and you're no longer, like, you could be reading an engrossing book and someone might come into the house or say something, and you're not aware of it, or because you're totally infused within that reading. And it's the same thing with meditation, right? So as the energy is flowing and we're directing it towards what we want, as we keep focusing on that, our senses naturally get pulled in, right? Because we're so internally focused on that sensation as it's rising, like, and we're moving around, we're doing what it takes, working with the breath, of course. So breathing into those places of tension, just getting it to flow, getting the energy to flow, and we're focusing it, we're bringing it up into our mind's eye, right? Now, and we're channeling it towards what we're seeking. So like, I'm wanting to break this habit, or I'm wanting to end this behavior, or I'm wanting to invite this into my life, or I want this to change, whatever it is that we're focusing on. We're bringing all of that to that. So now as we continue to focus on it, we're continuing to focus on it, the senses get pulled in, and now like we're refining that focus, and we actually touch in. So our sense of consciousness melds with that which we're focusing on, right? And that is in some ways can lead to transcendental experiences and stuff like that. But what we're seeking in this, at least the emphasis with Rune Yoga at this point, is really like melding with what we're focusing on. And at that point, that's where the insights arise, right? Because there's this sense of exchange of energy and conscious experience, and we shift our perspective. Our reality changes, and in that moment, different perspectives and different insights and things arise, and those are the things that we utilize towards changing or empowering us or whatever it is we're seeking. Um, yeah, so that's the focus of the meditation, and it's really all right. So then the meditation in itself is not complicated, right? I really have already said it in the sense that we've gone through the movements, you stabilized our body, now we're sitting in a and actually I'll put the link to the working with the runic movements and statas in a seated position. So you stimulated your body, you got it flowing. If there's any tension or something, you've broken that up. Get the blood circulation, all that stuff moving. And now we're seated, we're calmed, we're rooted, we're working with EIhwaz, we're really grounding, and we're working with centering, balancing, all these things that we've already talked about in previous videos. All that stuff applies now, and now we're stilling our mind, relaxing, softening things up a little bit, and now working with working with the Mula Bandha, the root lock, and we're pulling in the energy using our breath and channeling it. So our consciousness is sinking and settling, and now we're like channeling it up, right? We're visualizing, we're feeling. I'm a feeler, so for me it's really about feeling sensations, but some people might be just the visualization itself, just focusing in those regions stimulates that. And so now we're rising that energy up and settling our consciousness on it so we're linking consciousness with this movement of energy as it rises up into what we're seeking, right? And that sensation of it, the energy rising, can come in a multitude of different ways. It could be just a really influx of a rushing river. It could be something like a lava lamp. It could be like a bubble. I mean, because that feeling is almost like the energy is coming up and pushing and on that, like it's just flowing. We're bringing it up, and actually, I'm not going to get too much into it, but the energy can flow down to that sensation, because it's really just opening up the pathway for the energy just to flow unhindered, right? But what we're doing is channeling it. We're not seeking to move out through our crown, but we're actually channeling it into the mind's eye for a particular purpose, for that trance or for that transformation, whatever it is, or the cultivation. So using the breath, and just trust yourself. Just the focus is you're feeling it and you're visualizing it and you're experiencing it rising up, right? And again, so then with EIhwaz, you have these two. You have your roots, that's the one angle, and then coming up the central channel, and now going down into the mind's eye and through that journey. So that's really all it is. It's just that it's that sense of directing and focusing, working with your breath and channeling that energy up towards what your ritual meditation is all about, whatever you're seeking to do. And so that's another emphasis, is it's fine just to do the ritual without an intention and to see what comes up, right? Because that life and magic happen in amazing ways like that, where it's just a perfect experience or whatever. But in general, I encourage people to just have a focus, utilize that energy towards something. Now, depending on, when you activate the mind's eye, right, there's a multitude of different experiences. And like I spoke a little bit earlier with Seder, you can do, you can fare forth, like you can actually go on an astral journey to communicate with ancestors, or, experience the elemental world and, the magical side of things. So that's one aspect. Conscious transference, which I'll talk about in EIhwaz, and that is basically where you experience conscious from your vetch's perspective, right? Where you're able to actually see and experience reality through its um, manifestation. And so those are two different things that you can work with within the mind's eye, like as you channel all that energy, and that's where your consciousness and the energy is focused on. And then the third big one is really about transformation and self-cultivation. And that's my emphasis in Rune Yoga. So you have a set agenda, a set plan of something you're wanting to focus on, be it recognizing the root of a pattern or changing a habit or breaking an addiction or what have you. All right. So I think that's all I wanted to say on this one. So next video, be well and be blessed.
Odin, Thor, Freyr, Freya, Sif, Frigga.